And now broadcasting a special show from Odell Brewing in beautiful Fort Collins, Colorado. It's Live at Lunch on KRFC 88.9 FM, streaming live worldwide on krfcfm.org. We'd like to thank our sponsors of today's show, Odell Brewing, the OBC Wine Project, Rock Fan Sound, and the Bohemian Foundation, as well as the Pickle Barrel. I'm your host today, David V., and today's very special musical guest is Grammy Award-winning Steep Canyon Rangers.
Cherokee scouts were tracking General Rutherford's march through the Shenandoah Hills. But the Yanks got wise and poisoned Caney Creek, and one of them braves got killed. And they buried him sitting neath an oak tree, sitting up so he could keep his watch over Hominy Valley. I think he's watching me. And all I got to go on is 3 lines in a book that nobody reads, and a gash in the crook of the tree that never heals. Sure enough, there's a rise about 3 feet high, and I can follow the line of his eyes out across the field. Over Hominy Valley, I think he's watching me still. Well, my neighborhood fought it when some money from Charlotte bought up that river bend. Put the church on the land, and they needed the cash, and the lawyers got an easy win. So look who's moving in now. Who am I to run my mouth about Hominy Valley? I think he's watching me still. And all I got to go on is 3 lines in a book nobody reads, and a gash in the crook of the tree that never heals. Sure enough, there's a rise about 3 feet high, and I can follow the line of his eyes out across the field. Over Hominy Valley, I think he's watching me still. Stays locked, but you can still walk up to get to where he sleeps. There's a tree crew making their way through the hood. They're doing good work and doing it cheap. And one of those guys speaks English all right, and I asked him if they had their sights on that oak on the hill. Over Hominy Valley, all I got to go nobody reads, and a gash in the crook of the tree that never heals. Sure enough, there's a rise about 3 feet high, and I can follow the line of his eyes out across the field. Over Hominy Valley, I think he's watching me still. I think he's watching me still. is watching me still.
Thank you, y'all. We're called the Steep Canyon Rangers from Asheville, North Carolina. Thanks for joining us here today.
Steep Canyon Rangers here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. I want to introduce the band here real quick, and so everybody gets a chance to see who's doing what. First of all, we've got Graham Sharp on banjo and vocals. Mike Guggino on mandolin and also vocals. And mandola. And we got Aaron Burdett on guitar and vocals. Nicky Sanders, Spector on fiddle and violin and vocals. Mike Ashworth on the percussion back there and vocals. And Mr. Barrett Smith on bass guitar and vocals. Now, you guys formed, 23 years ago now. North Carolina and the University of North Carolina, Tar Heels. And I think, I'm trying to think, Mike, are you the original left in the band?
So it's, Graham and I are actually the original, I guess, left in the band.
Okay. All right. Well,
Legacy players.
Legacy, that's right.
well, you legacy members. Always into bluegrass. I know I was talking earlier with Graham, and you mentioned that you picked up that banjo at 18. And that was it. You never started with piano or guitar or anything else.
Yeah, I played saxophone.
Oh.
Yeah, I was a band guy in high school. And played saxophone, jazz band and stuff like that. And then I pawned my saxophone and bought a banjo, and that was the end.
So, would you say high school music was what got you into music, or do you have a musical family? Were your parents into bluegrass too, or is that what you listened to on the radio growing up?
There wasn't much bluegrass going around. I had a teacher in high school who kind of introduced me to bluegrass a little bit. And I used to go to a lot of Grateful Dead shows in high school, and Jerry Garcia was a banjo player. So
yeah, holding in the way.
Yeah, so that made a lot of sense. With the lifestyle to play the banjo. So.
Were you an original Deadhead following them around?
I was not an original Deadhead. But
you became one like so many others.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly.
All right. You guys have a brand new album coming out. Morning Shift on September 8th. And all the songs that you're playing today are from that, as I understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
You started out with your new single, Hominy Valley. And then just finished up the medley Old Stone House, Handlebars, and Chimney Rock, right? All right.
Yep.
Barrett, where do you get your inspiration? I know you're doing a lot of the lead vocals. Not that everybody else isn't pitching in, but where are you getting your inspiration for your songs here?
Well, these days we got really good writers in the band, so it's easy to stay inspired, and it's also easy to stay inspired when you're traveling around with a bunch of like-minded people who are so creative and that you have such a good vibe with. So yeah, it's pretty easy to stay inspired, I'd say, the way we're rolling right now. That's how it is for me anyway.
You guys just kind of locked yourself on, let's see here, what was the name of that? It was called the Bat Cave Inn at the Bat Cave.
That's a place.
Sounds like a heck of a place to spend your time and record an album. Yeah. Is that, you did that just to isolate yourself away from everybody?
Well, we like the idea. I mean, we've recorded in all kinds of different ways, and Asheville, North Carolina is basically our home base, and we have good studios there. But we also like the idea of going to a remote place where we can really just be away and focus. And that was a place that was pretty close to Asheville, but also, like, I would say, like, infinitely far away from everything that we ever imagined before. And so we were super isolated, and we just holed up in that cabin with Daryl Scott, who was the producer, and Dave Cinco, who's a great engineer, and then the two proprietors of the Bat Cave Inn, and the six of us, we lived together for about a week and made an album.
And this is your 13th album? Pretty prolific, guys.
Who's counting?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's been a lot. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And a lot of albums. Yeah.
All right. Well, fare thee well, Carolina Gals. What's the inspiration behind this one?
Tell me about it, Aaron.
Well,
when we first started talking to Daryl Scott about producing this album, he was very particular about some things he wanted, and one of them was he wanted us to play a cover song, which is not something that this band does a lot. And we were somewhat resistant, and listened to a few things, and a bunch of songs, and eventually landed on this Fare Thee Well Carolina Gals, written by Robbie Fulks, as one we all really sort of took to.
Thanks, Aaron. All right. Steep Canyon Rangers.
Those loose limb gals, they'd swing their feet down the airport side of Franklin Street. I watch them in the not quite innocent way I'm looking at them this evening, thinking about the plans I put on hold while the town got smaller and the days unrolled. There ain't but two stories told. This one's about leaving. I remember Katie, then Rosalie. I was pressing my luck when I tried for three. Some shrink from a shameful deed. Me, I'll do it gladly. If I hand you a line, you know that's true. If I give you a couple, it's yours to choose. One story from a total of two has got a good chance to end badly. So fare thee well, Carolina gals, I'm going where you can't find me. There'll be trouble in the days to come and a lot more fools behind me. I was just a lad about yay tall, sniffing that glue in the Northgate Mall, down where the anchormen say you all, kindness is a show for strangers. All those B-school boys and old hippie men sweating in the sun to no clear end. I made a medium to poor boyfriend, but a pretty good house painter. So fare thee well, Carolina gals, I'm going where you can't find me. There'll be trouble in the days to come and a lot more fools behind me. A simple phrase in a well-made tune. Staggerly will sound good on the moon. You don't need a cane chair and a hound dog. He'd sing the blues, I'd just smile. I was such a calm and settled child, thanking the Lord, never dreaming the while he was laying out my downfall. So with my hair and my eyes and my chest out swelled, I stood on her porch and buzzed the bell, peeking round the blind, knowing full well that her folks was gone to Boston. And they mean quiet when they say lights out, but that was love making it and made me shout. Daddy would have come home fast, no doubt, if he knew what the weekend had cost him. So fare thee well, Carolina gals, I'm going where you can't find me. There'll be trouble in the days to come and a lot more fools behind me. Now if a cruel word escapes my mind, don't worry baby, it's just the wine. On second thought, it's not the wine, it's just me talking. We men pour out our problems like we think that they're unique. We cheer when a baby starts to speak, ought to give them a prize for stopping. Baby, don't you be too surprised if I cash in the farm after mama dies, get a Cadillac and just ride to the Pacific, beats the bumper. Stop looking at me like I've lost a screw, like things had to lead where they led to. With the house half gone to kudzu, I'd be lucky to get a clunker. By luck I landed in the upper south, by God I gotta make my own way out. I should've read the signs by now, should've heard the locusts buzzing. Poor old Tommy Thompson's dead and gone, and I've been feeling So fare thee well, Carolina gals, I'm going where you can't find me. There'll be trouble in the days to come and a lot more fools. Fare thee well, Carolina gals, I'm going where you can't find me. There'll be trouble in the days to come and a lot more fools behind me.
Steep Canyon Rangers here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. Beautiful a cappella ending there. I got to ask you guys, I know you probably are tired of hearing it, but the Steve Martin connection, and I just thought everybody here, when they think of you guys, they're curious about it. And obviously when you first hooked up, he got a hold of you to do a benefit for the Los Angeles Public Library, if I'm not mistaken. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how that came about? And
Well, I believe the one you're referring to is our first show with him out in L.A. It was that benefit show. But we met him in North Carolina. His wife, we were actually friends with her, and she's more our age than his age. And she was a great friend of the band. She lived in New York City, and we would go to the city and play shows, and she would always come to the shows. And she would, we actually even, this was way early on in the band's career, actually crashed on her apartment floor there in the East Village. And then one of the times later when we came up there, she said, "Hey, I'm dating Steve Martin." And we were like Steve Martin? Steve Martin? I said, "Yeah, and he plays the banjo. You guys should play music together sometime." And so, well, that'd be great. And so her family liked to vacation in North Carolina, in Brevard, where I live, and where Mike on drums back there lives. And she brought him up to North Carolina, and we went to a little cookout up there and played music with him. And the next time we were in the city, we invited him to come play at one of our shows at Joe's Pub up there. And we learned one of his songs off his album. He had just released a record called The Crow, and we learned the song The Crow. And he came out and played it with us. And after it was done, he said, "Man, this song's never sounded better." And he's already recorded the song, on the record. And his agent had just told him he needed to find a band to tour with because he just released a record. And he said, "Well, I only know one."
So he got on the phone.
Yeah, so he literally called us one day. Back then we were in the RV driving around the country before we had the tour bus. And I remember getting a call saying, "Hey, will you guys be my band? And we're going on tour." And we said yes.
And that led to Carnegie Hall and tour in Europe. And
yeah, I mean, we've played some of the most amazing venues in the world. It's amazing, and it's obviously has helped our career and gotten our music out to a lot of new audiences, and we're real thankful.
And the album with him was nominated for a Grammy, but
it didn't win.
Yeah, the very next album came out that was just you without him, did get a Grammy, didn't it?
It did.
Yes,
so
there you go.
It was actually pretty satisfying to have won on our own. And to be fair, he had won a Grammy for his album before that, so...
Was that a comedy album, though?
No, for The Crow, right? Yeah,
oh, okay.
I think The Crow won a Grammy, so it seemed fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Spread the love.
All right. You still retain the connection?
Yeah, we've been playing shows this year. We're actually going back out on tour with Steve Martin and Martin Short. Now it was a banjo show, it was an all-music show with just Steve Martin, and now he and Martin Short do this comedy show. They have this TV show on Hulu now, and now they have this stage show, and it's on Netflix, and we're a part of that, and we go back out in September this fall and do those dates too.
All right. Well, what are you going to play for us next?
This is another song off the new album called Second in Line.
That is the official title. It is, isn't it? Yeah,
that's right.
But we just call it Junior. At the right hand of the big man. Learn young to kiss that ring. Pretty soon that ring will be on my finger. So you better think twice how you're treating me. Yeah, sister dear, she is a beauty. Mama's long since cast aside. Come to think, she's just a half sister to me. So it ain't half wrong if she's my bride. We can count our riches in the middle of the night. Look at them diamonds shine. And all you sorry sons of bitches would never understand what it is to be the man standing second in line. Is life too short for the world to learn? Just the way I like to drink my gin. And if someday I should return, you can put on the suit you're getting buried in. And if you wondered how I got this way, it's the same as my daddy done. Got a big fat check when I turned 18. I kept the working man under my pretty little thumb. We can count our riches in the middle of the night. Look at them diamonds shine. And all you sorry sons of bitches would never understand what it is to be the man standing second in line. In the broad daylight, look at them diamonds shine. And all your sorry sons of bitches would never understand what it is to be the man standing second in line. What it is to be the man. Sat beside me on that bus, but I never thought you'd ride this far. Alabama's calling, Alabama's calling, Alabama's dragging you down. Alabama's calling, Alabama's calling, Alabama's dragging you down. She needs you now. She needs
make a scene, you're the queen of righteousness. Anything to keep your conscience clean, but you sure did leave an awful mess. Wasn't what you told yourself, hard as hell to believe your eyes. From your heaven all the angels fell and left you in that lonely sky. Alabama's calling, Alabama's calling, Alabama's dragging you down. Alabama's calling, Alabama's calling, Alabama's dragging you down. She needs you now. She needs you now. You were never one to hold your tongue, always spoiling for a fight. Your daddy's girl since you were young. But what if you can't both be Alabama's calling, Alabama's calling, Alabama's dragging you down. Alabama's calling, Alabama's calling, Alabama's dragging you down. Woo. She needs you now. She needs you now.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Steep Canyon Rangers here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. You guys go out on occasional short tours. You're not one of those guys that go out for 3 and 4 months at a time. You're on one of those now, 4 or 5 dates. You'll be here, you'll be in South Dakota, you'll be in Montana. Is there a reason why you just do these short tours?
Families.
Families?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We just, we just don't want to be away that awful long.
Don't want to bring them along either?
No. It's just kind of how we've always operated, and
that's
it just tends to work.
More of a family atmosphere in the band?
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the things about this band that we've managed to do is to be keep it sustainable and have longevity, and
Don't want to burn
that's-
out?
Yeah, and that's I think that's a big part of it. Just being mindful how we tour. I mean, people do it differently. I have a neighbor who plays in a rock band, and they'll spend a year and a half making a record, and then they'll spend 2 years touring the record, and they're home for a year and a half, and then they're gone for a year and a half.
Hard to have a
and it's
family
just-
life, huh?
Yeah, and it's just different, and it works some ways for people and some for others, but this is just kind of what we've stumbled into.
Well, Mike, I want to ask you a couple questions. I mean, you're doing the percussion, you're doing acoustic guitar, you're doing dobro. I mean, where the heck did you get into all these various instruments?
I guess I just was always surrounded by instruments and music and didn't get told no a lot.
Musical family or
Yeah.
brothers, sisters?
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
His mama played.
Yeah? What,
My mama played.
she play piano or guitar, mandolin? Guitar. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I could.
Yeah. Oh, no problem.
We almost went into a
Too
mama
many
sang
people.
bass. Daddy sang bass. Somebody sang bass. No, it comes from my family. My mother had this guitar when I was a kid, and we would just take the guitar out of the case and push each other around the house in the case, which ultimately broke.
Good thing it wasn't the guitar.
This
you're
guitar
pushing
was,
around.
it's kind of an heirloom in our family. It's the only thing that has come through. I think it's built sometime in the 20s or 30s. My mom acquired it in the 60s. Learned kind of folk style. I learned on it.
First guitar I played.
Mike learned guitar on it. We used to sit on the porch when we were teenagers not doing anything wrong, just working on guitar. And yeah, I think you auditioned for college on that guitar for your, yep. A bunch of people have.
Music degree? Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
And so I guess that's where I came into other instruments, but I studied percussion from a young age because that was interesting.
You can always get a job in a band.
I could, maybe not. You know, I sat on the sidelines when this band formed and thought, why did I choose percussion? Because these are my best friends up here playing music, you know.
So
it took them like, I don't know, 12 or 13 years to hire me.
You guys have known each other since you're
We've
very
all,
young?
yeah, I see. I've known Mike since I was 14. We went to high school together. He started traveling down to Chapel Hill to play with what became the Rangers, and that was Barrett and Graham. Mm-hmm. And so I've known Barrett since, I don't know, known Barrett and Graham for over 20 years. Not long after that, Nicky came along. Mm-hmm. I met him when he joined the band in Asheville, and that's, 16, 17 years ago? 19 years ago.
Tight-knit unit.
Well, it's, yeah, I mean, it's a family.
Yeah. You guys, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I've been in the band for 10 years, but the band has been my closest friends for much longer. And the same with Barrett. He's 6 years in the band, but, you know, he was right there when this all was happening. And there were different spin-off groups that we've all done together, and we've all made music together for a long time.
Did you guys get together and jam and stuff, even when you were in a band, just hanging out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have a bit of a Colorado connection. Back in 2001, you won Bluegrass show in Lyons.
Yeah, we used to, when we were in college and just out of college, we used to climb in a conversion van and drive out to Colorado for like 5-6 weeks at a time and play like maybe 2 shows a week, but just camp and go fishing and hiking the other 5 days, and then play a couple gigs and get enough money to eat, and then do, you know, when we were 20 years old, it didn't matter.
Sure.
But we won the Rocky Grass Band competition in 2000. And then played
2001, I think, wasn't it?
Okay,
Yeah.
2001, and then played the festival in 2002.
But did that, now, I'm curious, did that make any difference as far as your careers or anything? Did people start calling you up saying, hey, you won,
for sure.
You won this? And
made a big difference, yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, like any, you know, when you want to do something so badly and you love it so much, like any little bit of encouragement goes a long way, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we've had kind of all along, you know. I mean, a lot of times we'd end up achieving goals before we even set them, strangely, you know. But we're willing to take kind of encouragement almost anywhere, you know. And that Rocky Grass thing was big for us, you know, to be far from home. And we won there in North Carolina, the Western North Carolina Mountain State Fair.
Nice.
And like got to open up for Earl Scruggs, you know,
Ooh.
in that same amount of time, and met Earl and got to play his banjo and all that stuff. So. Yeah, but I mean, you know, coming out to, you know, we started coming out to Rocky Grass, I did in like 96 maybe, and then came every year until probably 2002 or so. And for the band in general, you know, we'd all sort of leave North Carolina at some point in the summer and be like, we're going to meet at Rocky Grass and we'll see you there. And so we did that for a number of years, and Barrett was there as well. And something about, you know, this area here has sort of been embedded in the band's DNA for a little while now.
Now, do you have any plans later on this year coming back? Telluride, anything like that?
No.
Not this year.
No, yeah. Hopefully we can be back maybe early next year, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think our schedule's filled up for this year, otherwise in other places, but we do love coming out here.
And you're going to be promoting, obviously, the new album Morning Shift, which is out September 8th on all platforms, I assume. Doing vinyl and CD?
We got vinyl and CD. Yeah, we've partnered with a really cool store in our hometown that actually we pressed the vinyl right there in Asheville.
Oh, really? In North Carolina, they've
at this
got a
place.
pressing
Yeah,
plant.
they've got a press, so we went in there and got some special editions coming out first, you know, some various color vinyl and stuff like that. It's beautiful.
Sweet. And
yeah.
where's the best place that you prefer people to go to get information about the band, upcoming shows, swag, your music?
SteveCanyon.com has everything on it.
Yeah.
From our tour dates to merchandise and information and all that stuff as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. We've got another one coming off the new album here, Above My Burden. Is that the next one?
Yeah, above my burdens is this one, and you know, it's been nice bringing Aaron in. He's a wonderful songwriter, and he kind of I've kind of written the songs for the Rangers in large part for a number of years, and it's been so nice having Aaron come in because there's a lot of holes in my writing, and they're very apparent, and he picked up on them really quickly, and and he's able to do that. So we'll do a couple songs here that he's written, and this is one of them. You want to tell him anything?
Yeah.
About it?
Fill us in.
Feeling it. Well, I mean, I as Graham alluded to, I had my own solo career, sort of Americana, bluegrass end of Americana for a long time. And, when I joined this band, it's funny, they were stuck in my brain as a bluegrass band. Like, I thought they were, the last time I checked in like 2004.
Thanks for keeping up.
Yep. It was pretty straight bluegrass. And of course, it's broadened a lot since then, but they're still very much a bluegrass band at the core. And so I don't know, I seem to have a knack for writing some of those gospel-y and bluegrass type songs, and I wanted to bring some of those in to maybe harken back to the olden days.
Steve Canyon Rangers.
Sometimes the path is dark and narrow, with briars and branches closing in. You can't see on to where you're going, can't turn back to where you've been. Phantoms reach out from the darkness, memories claw out from the night, but they're ahead through the bramble, breaks a brilliant morning light. Lift me up above my burdens. I take what courage I can find. Help me trust the pace of nature. Nothing rushed, nothing left behind. There were those who came before me, and their words I cast aside. Spent the best years of my lifetime thinking none knew more than I. If there are those with ears to listen, hear me now above your pride. Tend to spirit, song and family. Nothing more will you require. Lift me up above my burdens. I take what courage I can find. Help me trust the pace of nature. Nothing rushed, nothing left behind. I will be no more discouraged with fear and worry. I am through. There comes a spring after winter, and the old becomes the new. Lift me up above my burdens. I take what courage I can find. Help me trust the pace of nature. Nothing rushed, nothing left behind. Nothing rushed, nothing left behind.
I'd like to thank our crew today. A video and audio crew always does a fantastic job here for us at Live at Lunch. Couldn't do it without these guys that get better every show, absolutely. And I'd like to remind all our listeners that you can always go to our KRFC RadioVision YouTube. That's right on YouTube, KRFC 88.9 FM. And you can see all of the shows from the past and the future if you click on the subscribe. And if you subscribe, you'll get a notification each week of who's the upcoming band. Guys, is there anything that we didn't touch base on today that you'd like to bring up? I mean, any shows coming up after the 11th here?
Yeah, we have a great festival that we host, basically.
In North Carolina?
In Western North Carolina, Brevard, where Mike and Mike live, called the Mountain Song Festival. That's going to be in September. That's a lot of fun. It's always
Going to coincide with their album release
That's
date?
basically the album release.
The
Yeah,
8th?
that's a real hometown crowd for us, and a bunch of our community and friends and family are there.
That's a day-long festival then? And
It's a couple days.
oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Rocky Grass and all those years that we, in various iterations, came out to that. We're festival people, and Rocky Grass is a really great one.
Great way to
Colorado
network and meet other musicians.
and party.
Yeah.
And network and do important things, and go to the festival.
Sure.
Right? It's magic. The festival is magical.
Is it like a camping style festival? People camp there and stay there?
There's no
or-
camping at Mountain Song. Yeah, we host two festivals really. One in the fall and one in the spring. And spring is Bird Fest, which is down in South Carolina.
And when's that?
That's in May 3rd and 4th of next year. Yeah, that's a camping festival.
Oh, great.
That's a great one too.
And we can find out about that on your website too.
Yeah. Bird Fest and Mountain Song those are our two that we really host. Mountain Song is the one it's coming up, and it's the one that's associated with our album release. So we got that on our minds right now, and y'all should definitely make the trip. We got a bus, and there's a little bit of room. You could head back to Western
Get
North.
to ride.
Well, that's one of the reasons that we love coming out here. It's like we've always heard people say who live in this Mountain West area. They'll say like very disdainfully, "I would never move to the East Coast." It's horrible to think, it's dense population, and it's just not out here. But if I had to move to the East Coast, I'd probably move to Asheville.
North Carolina.
And so there's like a weird little kindred thing between Western North Carolina, kind of culturally, vibe-wise, that we really appreciate, and I think on some level is what kept us coming out here to this area that's really important to us, and that we just love being here.
Yeah. But we want you back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for taking time out of your very busy schedule. We greatly appreciate it. Obviously, you've got a show here tonight, and I'm sure that'll be sold out. And you're going to leave us out with Morning Shift and Deep End off the new album. And thanks again, Steep Canyon Rangers.
Great. Thanks, y'all. Thank you.
starting. The coffee's brewing as the river fog lifts. I'm heading out for the morning shift. The road is paved with good intention and critters that should've looked both ways. But even worse than a bad decision is never deciding anything, but keep it in the middle. Now what's the measure of a man? Oh, little by little, I'm doing the best I can. When I wake up this morning, when I lay down tonight, wanna skip ahead a couple of chapters and get to where the good stuff starts, but keep it in the middle. What's the measure of a man? Oh, little by little, I'm doing the best I can. When I wake up this morning, when I lay down tonight, I wanna know that I've done something. I've done something right. When I wake up this morning, when I lay down tonight, I wanna know that I've done something. I've done something right. Might be better if I didn't remember, and the good old days just never return. I clear my head of every reminder. Might be the only way I ever did learn. When I wake up this morning, when I lay down tonight, I wanna know that I've done something. I've done something right. When I wake up this morning, when I lay down tonight, I wanna know that I've done something. I've done something right. Down the hill, the dogs are barking. In the half dark, the trucks are starting. The coffee's brewing as the river fog lifts. I'm heading out for the morning shift.
Aaron, you want to say bye?
Y'all, thank you so much for coming out and hearing us today. This has been a lot of fun. And we're going to finish up with a song I wrote called Deep End. Y'all's first gigs with Steve were where?
Well, I mean, we immediately went. We did a couple smaller ones, but then almost immediately the first tour was like Carnegie Hall and
Yeah,
all the
right.
big places, you know.
So my first run of gigs with these guys were at the Hollywood Bowl. Pretty big. And kind of jumped in feet first into the deep end, as they say. We went up to a pool party at Jeff Babco's house, the piano player for the Steve and Marty tours. We went up there for a cookout on that Sunday afternoon of that July 4th weekend last year. And I walked up to the door, and his wife answered the door, and I said, "Hey, I'm Aaron. I'm here for the pool party." And she said, "Oh, you're Aaron. You're the guy who jumps in the deep end." Because everybody knew I had just stepped into a whole thing, and I just stepped onto a plane already in motion.
That's right.
So that's where this idea from this song came from. Hung up the phone, and I hit the ground running. Gotta jump like you want it when the good things are coming. Packed up my dirty laundry right off the floor, battened down the hatches and locked the front door. Bought a suit so I look real good and pointed out west toward Hollywood. I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. Find out quick if I'm sinking or swimming. Long ago threw caution to the wind, and I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. since I was a child. Grab a tiger by the tail and hold on tight. Doesn't take but a crack in the doorway. I'll be pushing through, running blindly. What's up ahead is better than what's behind me. You say the word, watch out, I'm coming. I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. Find out quick if I'm sinking or swimming. Long ago through caution to the wind, and I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. I've never known when to stop. Here I come, ready or not, like a bull at a China shop. Take no counsel for the moves I make. Stand back and make a room, get out of my way. I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. Find out quick if I'm sinking or swimming. Long ago through caution to the wind, and I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. Find out quick if I'm sinking or swimming. Long ago through caution to the wind, and I'm the guy who jumps in the deep end. Deep end. Deep end.
Thank you for listening to Live at Lunch, and thank you to the Music District here in the heart of Fort Collins, Colorado. Live at Lunch is produced by KRFC 88.9 FM in the Ginger and Baker studio. If you'd like to appear on Live at Lunch, email our music director, David Vosick, at david@krfcfm.org.